Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, it's my privilege to moderate the panel discussion on curriculum for the integrated future, preparing learners for a complex world. Here, we are here sort of like reflect on how our education system can adapt to the reality of AI connected world, ensuring that innovation remains more human centered, ethical, and more inclusive. So we have with us a very diverse panel representing policy, curriculum design, technology, and also local innovation. So I'm delighted to introduce our distinguished panelists. So we have here Dr. Ali Shamim. Ali Shamim is a global ed tech leader with 20 plus years transforming schools in the Maldives, Jordan, Indonesia, China, and Spain. He's an expert in computer science education, STEM, and tech integration. Most recently is the Director of Educational Technology and Innovation of Bristol Madrid. He spearheaded advancement in digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, and responsible AI for personalized learning, consistently emphasizing why over what. He also shaped the Maldives National STEM Education Strategy. Now back home, he is committed to value-driven, scalable innovation in education. Our next panelist, Mr. Mohammed Jailam, CEO of Jawab Private Limited, co-founder of Jawab and Divehi GPT. Mohammed Jailam is a dynamic tech entrepreneur and software developer. Is the CEO of Jawab Private Limited, co-founder of Jawab Academy and Divehi GPT, and founder of the Divehi Foing app. He is at the forefront of digital innovation in the Maldives. With over 11 years of professional experience in the IT field, Jailam's contribution has earned him significant national recognitions, which includes 2022 National Youth Awards and 2025 National Awards for recognition for computer software application development. Jailam holds a master's in IT from Villa College and a BSc in computer science. His career blends technical expertise, business acumen, and a strong commitment to education, making him a rising star in the Maldivian tech landscape. Now we have Ms. Shuhuda Rizwan, Senior Curriculum Development Analyst. Ms. Shuhuda Rizwan is an educational development professional with over 27 years of experience in the education sector. She currently leads the Research and Innovation Division at the National Institute of Education, focusing on policy research related to curriculum implementation and teachers' professional development. Ms. Shuhuda is the lead author of key national policy documents, including the National Professional Standards for Teachers, the National Standard for Initial Teacher Trainings, and School-Based Professional Development Policy. And the last, Dr. Abdul Latif Mohammed, Minister of States of Education. Dr. Abdul Latif Mohammed is a distinguished educator and policy leader with over 15 years of experience in advancing learning and educational leadership, holding a PhD in education with a specialization in technology integration. He is recognized for his expertise in mobile learning, AI in education, assistive technologies, and educational leadership. As a State Minister of Education, Dr. Latif oversees the national-wide digital transformation of the K-12 education sector, spearheading initiatives that modernizes classrooms, empower school leaders, teachers, and enhance learning outcomes through technology-driven innovation. His strategic vision and hands-on approach continues to shape the Maldivian education system, ensuring it remains adaptive, inclusive, and more future-ready. So, thank you all for joining here. So let's begin with our very first round where I'll be asking individual questions. So our first question is for Dr. Ali Shamim. Um, what impact will the spread of generative AI have on teaching and learning at schools?
Thank you very much. This was a real honor to be able to join everyone and especially to join this esteemed panel. Here are people that we would actually look into and see all the creative and innovative things that are happening in the education sector especially. It's my privilege to be back home and to really contribute to these conversations. So first of all, with the question in mind, I have to say that we really need to look into the future. We really need to look into what's possible, but not necessarily what's really happening at home. For me, I have few opportunities to be at schools here in Maldives, but my experience mostly is outside the country, outside Maldives. So from my experience outside, I have number of things that I've noticed impacting education with AI integration. The most important thing that I see, the most innovative thing that I see is really how AI is able to bring on personalized learning in terms of really individualized tutoring and supporting students with different needs. That's where the biggest benefit I see. That's where the highest impact happening outside the country. Obviously, in Maldives, we don't see that because maybe in our schools, we don't have one-to-one device programs. We don't have as much devices for teachers to use in the classrooms. So for me, that will be a very, very huge impact that we will soon start to see in our schools with one-to-one devices or some form of devices available. Next thing that I noticed with the schools, especially with schools, is that teachers are able to make better use of their time. Our teachers are now able to generate lesson plans, generate formative assessments, create a lot of resources for their classrooms without having to spend considerable time on these preparations. So that's a huge, huge advantage again in terms of saving time. Now, obviously, teacher time means that the teachers will have more time to spend with the students. They'll be able to generate more personal connections, relationships, and that helps to improve engagement in the classroom. So I see with the AI, with the technologies that are available now, there's going to be better engagement, there's going to be better opportunities for students, and definitely their learning will improve with this increase in engagement in the classrooms. So I'm not very sure that it's happening right now, but I hope that it will be the future that we will see even in our classrooms. So those are the three main things that I noticed would be happening with the innovations we talk about in AI. Obviously, there's a lot of caution. I mean, I shouldn't talk about all the positive things without mentioning some of the cautions that people are talking about. One of the things that everyone is worried about is the cheating that will happen with AI. I mean, I'm concerned as an educator that there might be cheating happening, but I think this is an opportunity for us, all of us, educators, parents, and even general public to be aware that the process is more important than the product. I look at it as an opportunity to emphasize the process rather than the product. AI can generate a product, but AI would not be able to guide or would not be able to help us mostly in the process. Right now, there are new tools that are coming up. Like in few weeks, just few weeks back, there's a new AI technologies that are released with Google's Gemini, with ChatGPT. There's a learning mode where they can actually learn something on their own. So hopefully, the process part of the learning will be also supported by AI. But right now, most of the time, when we talk about the threats to our learning, it's talking about the product, final product that's generated through AI, which may be some form of a cheating going on. Right. So I think those are the main concerns, the three things: personalization, obviously, teacher time, that's a big one, and then we need to be worried and cautious about other things that are happening as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for highlighting those implications. So that naturally sort of like leads to us to consider what kind of skills students will need in future as well. Our next question. Our next question goes to Mr. Mohammed Jailam. Which skills and competencies should be prioritized at the core of a curriculum design for an AI connected world?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think when we are looking at the future, we see that the future is very different than now. With the help of AI, and we were just discussing about smart glasses. So in the future, our mobile phones are going to transform into smart glasses. So instead of us carrying around big bricks of phones, maybe it's getting thinner. Last night we had the iPhone 17 Air, which was extremely thin. But the general idea being the phone is getting transformed thinner and thinner, and in the future we would have smart glasses as our main platform for computing. And with the invention of the smart glasses, when we look at anything, the information about whatever the object is, the process is, will be available to us. Now, comparing that with our current education system, the education system is very much information oriented, not necessarily knowledge oriented. I would say information oriented, because we are asking students to by heart definitions. We are asking them to by heart notes so that they could come and write the same notes on paper as an exam, not necessarily applying that knowledge in the form. When it comes to a student who is completing their education, the student is informed but not skilled. So we need to, in the education sector, needs to focus on skilling students instead of informing them. I mean, information is important, but when you are skilled, you don't only have information, you have knowledge, and you also have the knowledge how to convert the product, how to convert the knowledge into a prototype and into a product, and then bring that into the market, or bring that as build a community around it, so that there's a benefit to the society around it. So when we're talking about skills, we don't really talk about skilling students. We talk about skilling employees. When somebody joins an organization as an employee, you talk about reskilling them, teaching them new skills. But I think we need to consider skills in the education sector as well. So if you look at the education sector right now, only a handful of students get actually the opportunity to participate in oratory competitions, in essay competitions, in different platforms where they actually do scouting maybe. So we need to broaden the scope and make it compulsory that every student who is being educated needs to get skilled, whether it could be oratory skills, whether it could be teamwork, whether it could be skills like camping, or whether it could be skills like digital literacy. So these skills are extremely important, so that when students leave the school, they are skilled for the community, they are skilled for the employment. There's no need for a re-skilling process or reorientation process at the employment, because they would already have the knowledge plus the skill. So in the future, with the new invention of smart glasses and whatnot, the information would be redundant. So there's no need to by heart anything, because it's an open textbook exam, because everything, you have the information there for you. You don't even have to search it. Just gives you the information to your field of view, or maybe into your ears, speak it out. But what would be lacking is the ability to convert that information into a product, to convert that information into a profitable or benefitable community or a product, which is the skill that we need right now. So in terms of skill, yes, we have some skills in the community that will no longer be there. For example, I am a software developer. In the future, there will be no software developers. Software development will become an automated process. Once upon a time, we had elevator operators. can we imagine the job of an elevator operator today? I mean, I would have, it's hard for me to think what would they do in an elevator, maybe press some buttons. But I mean, back then it was a whole career, it was a whole profession. Likewise, software development is getting automated. AI is able to code the process. Of course, you still need somebody to define you what are the requirements and what needs to be done, and if the requirements are there, if user is testing and everything there, but you don't really need somebody to code it out. So in the future, there will be no software developers. So I really need to get reskilled right now. But the general idea is the whole world is changing. AI is here to do a massive transformation of our lives. So the basic still is we need to learn how to learn, which is also a skill. We need to be skilled in areas. Instead of just having information or by heart in information, we need to learn the skill of learning and adapting and developing our skills further to be relative in the future.
I think that's a nice way to, look at the skills, like what are the things that we need to inculcate in schools. Um, Thank you, Mr. Jailam. Um, Now that actually brings to our next panelist, Ms. Shohda. So as someone who is deeply engaged in curriculum development, so I would like to ask you, what kind of professional development or PD supports do you think teachers would need to teach students of a complex AI connected world that we are talking about?
Thank you very much. Yeah, what kind of professional development teachers need? Uh, I can go on talking and talking, but then I think as one of the main things, teachers need to have a strong digital literacy. So digital literacy, what I mean is not simply knowing how to use the apps. Like for example, somebody talks to you about, somebody introduces you to an app and then you start using it, somebody teaches you how to use it. I mean, that is important. You need to know how to use them. But also it's important for you to have the skills on evaluating what the apps can do for you, for your students, for the classroom. How is it going to benefit the students? So just the professional development need to go beyond how to use the apps. And then the other thing is, of course, we are talking about implementing a curriculum, right? So teachers, a major focus of the professional development need to be on how to adapt the curriculum and pedagogy for AI. So to do that, teachers need to have the skills, or teachers need the support to develop the skills for like how to use them meaningfully in the classroom. Meaningfully in the classroom is for example, as Jailam has just talked about, it's not about by hearting. I mean, the knowledge is out there for you to just simply command. Simply, sometimes nowadays you don't even have to type it, you just have to like say it, and then the information, the knowledge comes to you. So so it has to be like teachers knowing how to make the students be like active creators of knowledge, like instead of seeking knowledge or learning the knowledge by hearting is what I also would like to repeat after Jailam. Yeah, so a typical lesson, for example, could be the teacher simply facilitates a classroom where the students work together collaboratively uh, to design something, to create something of course related to their curriculum, the content of the curriculum, and like develop or create something that they can be proud about. Like for example, this morning also I I saw somebody creating a picture using AI, and I'm not very sure if she was very proud about herself because she did not put a lot of too much of effort on like uh, to create it, just simply gave the command. But sometimes if you are trying to create something that doesn't exist maybe, like something that you can be proud about, is what real learning is. So teachers need to have that kind of knowledge, or at least that kind of attitude, that this is what the students need. And then the other thing is, when we are talking about professional development, it's very important that professional development does not like be something that is one-off, like just one workshop or one session, and then you assume that they have the skills and they will continue. It has to be continuous, reflective, collaborative, and also based on practice that they do in the classroom. Uh, Finally, I would also, because we are talking about AI, which is for some people definitely is something, some people define AI as something very dangerous. We also have mentioned things like that here. So we are living in a world which is like very, very machine based. Machines are doing things for us all the time, and then sometimes we forget that we are human beings sometimes. So the human side of it, teachers need to have the kind of professional development that remind them that they are, for one thing, they are human beings, and also the other thing is the students in the classroom are also human beings. So socio-emotional skills are very important to be taught to the students, and also to handle the children as human beings. So yeah, I thought these are the most important areas of professional development that we can have in the AI era. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Shohada. I think she has sort of like highlighted or underlined some of the importance of equipping teachers with the right support, I guess. So finally, let's move to the system, the wide perspective. So Dr. Abdul Latif Mohammed, so as State Minister of Education, so your role is central to guiding the broader system. So how can education system adapt curricula to balance digital innovation with core human values and 21st century competencies?
Yeah, thank you for the question, and I believe that this is an important question. Um, that's all about intentional integration rather than substitution. Um, like we can outsource or substitute all our activities to these machines and programs. And the consequence will be, we can assume that in the near future, in the very near future, if we are doing that repeatedly, as Shoda just mentioned, we will not be able to remember things for a long period of time. We will not be able to think in a systematic manner. And like we will also lose other important traits that are unique to us humans, like we will not be able to demonstrate the ability to have like the empathy, respect, resilience. These unique traits, we will lose it if we are overly dependent on these machines. So in order to balance the innovations and these digital innovations, and the values and competencies. There are three things I believe that we can do, and we must do these things. The first thing is we have to embed digital skills and values together while teaching and learning. That means, for example, if you are teaching digital skills such as coding or programming, or let's say AI in learning, for example, along with these things, these skills, we have to teach our students the values like digital citizenship, like ethical decision making. So, by taking this approach, our students will be ready to innovate using these digital platforms. And also, our students will take the responsibility to respect human dignity and sustainability. That's one thing. The second one is the integration, actually. That is interdisciplinary kind of teaching and learning. Like at the current situation is it's very much discipline-based, subject-based teaching. Like there's no much of meaningful integration or cross-curricular thematic teaching. So we have to move from the traditional approach of teaching to a more integrated approach of teaching. And at the center of this, there should be the technology, linking technology to all the subjects. If you are teaching Islam, if we can, for example, we can give a project to a student. We can design a project and then ask the students to draw on knowledge from different subjects. For example, languages, mathematics, science, Islamic studies, and all these things. And then propose, like use these technologies to analyze the data, propose a solution, and then communicate the findings to the audience, for example. So by this approach, students are engaged in solving real world kind of problems. And at the same time, they are learning the real skills that they need for the future. And the third one is the teacher education, teacher training. So it's important when we are developing our teachers, giving professional development opportunities, we have to consider not only to upskill the teachers with the digital skills or technical skills. We have to also give the opportunities for the teachers to develop in the area of reflective capacity. That means the teachers should be able to guide our students in questioning, in taking responsibilities in using technology. So these are, I believe, the most important three areas that we have to take into consideration in order to balance the digital innovation and also the values and 21st century competencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Latif, for the important perspective on aligning innovation with human values. So that actually concludes the first round. So now we open the floor for questioning. So if you have any questions for the panelists, you may.
That was a really interesting discussion. So I actually have two questions to ask. Like with globalization, learners face cultural diversity, but also inequality. What practical steps, and also inequality. So what practical steps can schools take to make schools or any other educational institutions can take both inclusive and globally relevant? And also, if you could like redesign the curriculum from scratch, what would you add or remove to better prepare learners for the future? That includes like for the institutions as well, for the existing teachers as well as the student teachers. And my second question is, from you've mentioned from traditional way of teaching to a more modern way that includes technology, right? So with increasing reliance on technology, do you think like students' cognitive development, like attention span, memory, their deep thinking knowledge, is at risk? And how can educators address this? Thank you.
Right. As an educator, I think it's an opportunity to talk about my experience in the classroom. And my experience, obviously, trying to implement some of these systems, some of the technologies in different countries. Uh, those are very relevant questions, but I think the main answer that I can give, one answer that I can give you is that the teacher is the key to all of those questions that you ask. Teacher is the key. When you talk about the curriculum, the teacher is the key. When you talk about what's happening in the school, teacher is the key. When you talk about what's happening in the classroom, teacher is the key. When you talk about connecting with the child, teacher is the key. So we need to empower the teacher. We really need to, I couldn't say de-skill the teacher because I think it's part of the teacher training that they learn some things, but now they need to really forget everything that they learn. It's like, I can give you one example that I tell to my students, when you're in high school, you learn about Newton's laws of motion. Everybody learns about Newton's laws of motion. Somewhere when you study physics in more advanced levels, suddenly there comes a point where people start saying that Newton's theories are invalid, or there might be some mistakes in those theories. You don't need to believe everything that Newton has mentioned. So that's the kind of thing. Right now is an opportunity for our teachers to kind of learn new skills and kind of embed those in their teaching. And I think the other answer that I would suggest is focus on learning. You mentioned in your question, it's about the learning, curriculum, and everything. It's about the learning. So if you focus on the learning, focus on the process, that'll be a wonderful opportunity for our teachers and also for our students to gain these skills. That means, obviously, the assessments needs to change. I'm a little controversial when it comes to assessing. I don't think we need to have high-stake exams. I don't think we need to have end of grade 10 exam. Students needs to be able to learn without taking exams at the end of the year. Learning can be seen in other ways other than taking a test at the end of the year or at the end of the semester. So if you wanted to show learning, especially in this age, with AI, with technology, if you want to show learning, you need to forget about taking exams, writing it on piece of paper, because who would need that writing on paper when they apply for a job? I don't know if anybody would ask you to bring at least from my experience, applying to jobs outside the country, no one asked my transcript. No one ever asked me, where's your transcript from your master's, your PhD, where's your transcript? No one asked for that. So I think it's about that change. It's a shift. This is a transformation in teaching and transformation in learning. So that will take time. It's not something we will do right away. It might take a very long time. It might take a few years. But that's how we can get to that. If you want to add.
Yeah, I'd like to mention some of the practical approaches which schools can do. I think we could, first of all, if you look at the Gen Z or the Gen Alpha or the new generation, a lot of them, they are offloading a lot of their cognitive thinking to all the AI models. So much so that in some countries we see that some youth, they are committing suicide because ChatGPT told them to do it. And this is something really sad. So I think what's happening is AI is here, AI is helping people, AI is helping students cheat their exams or cheat their assignments, and they're doing the cognitive offloading, or cognitive thinking is done by the AI. But we need to regulate AI and teach students how to properly use it. If the education system doesn't use AI and integrate AI and actually guides the students into using AI properly, then students are going to learn to use AI to do shortcuts. And by shortcuts, I mean cheating in exams and whatnot. So the power of AI is huge, but it has two sides to it. You can properly use it, or you can actually use it, misuse it, and have a lot of bad consequences to it. Let's just look at the calculator for an example. So when the calculator came out, when it was invented, I'm sure the maths teachers then would have said, "Oh my goodness, this is the end of maths. Nobody's going to learn any times table or nobody's going to learn how to do maths." But what did we do? Did we give calculators to grade one? No, we actually did regulations on that, right? On calculators can only be used at secondary grade students or higher students. And even at secondary grade students, we are actually introducing papers where they need to do the exam without calculators. Why do we do that? Because we need to develop that skill, that mental cognitive skill. So for an example, we need to learn the times table because we need to know that to do mental maths. We need to learn mathematics because mathematics is a logical part of our human thinking. And without basic mathematical skills, we would have zombies who doesn't even know how to think. So we need to regulate AI. Schools need to they need to integrate AI and properly implement it. For an example, students in the lower grade students, they should not be able to have access to AI, or when they have access to AI, it needs to be with the help of a guardian, or it needs to be specific tools that are used that uses AI to help them to become smarter, not dumber or stupid. So AI can be used for both cases, but we need to regulate them, and schools need to play a very important, proactive part in it. Otherwise, social media and whatnot are going to teach students how to use AI to ruin their life, maybe take shortcuts, and this would end up with a society that has no cognitive power at all. So it's very critical that the education sector actually adapts to the change and does its job in order to provide its students with proper use cases on how they could use AI to become smarter. AI is huge, it's very powerful, but it's also very dangerous.
All right, so we'll start with the second round. So in the second round, each of our panelists will be invited to reflect on two overarching questions. This will allow us to connect ideas across different domains, but also I think we'll be able to look into a bigger picture of it. So the first question, what changes or partnerships are most needed to make curricula future ready in an AI-driven world? So I would like to, I would like to invite Dr. Shamim to begin, and then we'll hear from Mr. Jailam, and then Ms. Shuhuda, and after that, Dr. Latif.
That's a very interesting question. I'm sure everybody has a thought. Everyone has a response to that. There's changes that we think for ourselves. There's changes that I think for myself. But sometimes we have to question our thinking. See, is it practical? So we need to think of practical steps. So in my mind, one of the practical steps when we think of partnering with others, when we think of making use of pre-existing knowledge, when we think of, I mean, I wouldn't say best practices, but when we think of what other countries are doing, what other organizations are doing, it's important that we partner with technology creators, the people who create, like Jailam here, the people who are creating, even outside our country, Microsoft, Google, partnership with these kind of organizations will help us stay at the top of this game. And I mean, it's a difficult thing to balance the technology as well as the teaching and learning. So the curriculum needs to be focusing on teaching and learning, not necessarily on the technology. Technology is just a vehicle, just a byproduct. It doesn't have to be there. I mean, I've changed my mind on things. I believe, like Jailam said, there's a place for technology, there's a place for no technology. So we don't need to do everything with technology, but we need to partner with technology providers. So that's one important thing to consider, but I'm sure others will add to this list.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. We try ourselves being a technology company. We try ourselves to develop localized versions of AI, especially when it comes to the Maldivian culture, the Maldivian language. The current Maldivian language is not represented in the international AI models. Therefore, a lot of us, we tend to leave out the language or prefer to use English because it's easier, it's more compatible with most of the AI versions. And therefore, we are trying our best to bring out the local version of it. So for an example, Divehi GPT, we have tried to make Divehi usable on AI, where we have created our own models as well as cooperated with different other international models and open source models, utilize them to provide the local version of it. So we are very much in need of partnership. We are very small organization, around 12 staff. So we actually need partners like Villa College, like other universities to come and to work with us on this field of research and development. Because a lot of work is where you test out, you do months of work. For an example, last few months, we have actually been working trying to develop a natural voice for Divehi. For an example, we already have a version which is kind of computerized, we call it Kadda, but we are trying to develop a natural version of it. A version that is also able to laugh and cry maybe. But then a lot of research has been going into it. A lot of work has been going into it, self-funded work. Still struggling with that. But we are at the crisp of developing something. We haven't actually reached our goal, but we have made something better than what we were before. So definitely partnership with other organizations, other companies, institutions such as universities, where we could actually collaborate with the students in developing these solutions would definitely excel our growth, our achievement in the field of artificial intelligence. And I think this is really important as a national work, because this would eventually lead to the preservation of the Divehi language and our culture, and maybe even take it to the next generation as well.
I would say that if we are talking about a curriculum that is future ready, then I think the biggest change should start from how we prepare our teachers. So this means a significant portion of our investments must be on developing teachers, building the capacity of teachers, because if our teachers do not have the capacity, the confidence, or the competence, then whatever we do will go waste. So it all depends on how the teachers can do their job well, especially in a meaningful way, I would say. So if we're talking about partnerships, I would say that the partnerships should start from teacher education institutions, technology providers, of course, and then policymakers, schools, and also education professionals. All these people should work together in partnership so that AI can be implemented or the curriculum can be future ready. And then, yeah, so I would, it's like if we are talking about technology partners, like for example, Xylem, I was thinking that we still have to deal with the human side of, I mean, the teachers need to deal with the human side, but then the technology providers are trying to challenge even that. So just now he has mentioned that he is trying to bring human emotions into the technology. So definitely we need to partner with the technology providers, especially innovators in our context, people like Xylem, of course, and we definitely have important providers like him and his company. So, and of course, big giant technology providers such as Google. At the moment, even the Ministry of Education is working in partnership with Google on certain projects because, you know, without them, like, we can just continue talking about it, and then like if somebody hears, if a teacher or a principal from a school hears me out at the moment, they will have a lot of complaints. Okay, you can talk about technology, you can talk about AI, but where is AI? How are we going to use it? Because it is not in our hands. So definitely we have to work with like not just simply technology providers, but also like there has to be, as I've said, a significant amount of investment, national investment, also need to be on teachers. Thank you.
Okay, let me focus on changes. There are two changes which are required. One is for the pedagogy and another one is for the assessment. So in order to make the curricula for future ready, we need to change our pedagogical practices. That is an important area that we have to focus on. And that will come with the upskilling of the professional development of our teacher force. The pedagogy, like no matter how much we tell to our students, they are still going to use the AI for their assessments, for all other activities to different levels. So what we have to do is, and many researchers and the expert practitioners in education are calling for the transformation of pedagogical practices, such as, like, for example, one way is just flipping the classroom. Like the students will do their work and learning at home. We can do all the assessing part in the classroom. So we can assess their creative ability, their critical thinking skills, their problem solving skills. So all the kind of problem solving, project based learning kind of activities could be carried out. That should be the main focus. That should be in the classroom now. Like the hands-on projects, the students should work on hands-on projects in the classroom. And then teachers should focus on testing their competencies, 21st century skills, competencies. So that should be the main focus. And then the assessment I have just mentioned, we have to change the way we assess. Instead of giving a high weightage on testing their ability to memorize, recalling the facts. So, because those things are handled by other things now, those machines. But still we need the, because if we are like outsourcing all those things, we will become less human, I believe. But again, we have to focus on assessing those important skills like the critical thinking skills, creativity, problem solving, all those things. So along with pedagogy and assessment, by changing the approach we are carrying out these both aspects, we can bring a dramatic shift in the way we deal with the education in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. That reminds us sort of like importance of keeping people, not only the technologies. So still, you know, the education is important, but I think as panelist has highlighted the importance of, you know, utilizing those skills effectively. All right, so now let's move on to the second question. Second question is, how can we ensure AI in education stays human-centered, inclusive, and ethical? So shall we start from Dr. Shamim?
Sure. This is, again, I think very similar to what we just talked about. Ethics comes to mind for me. Like ethics is big part of this conversation. We haven't actually touched ethics yet. I think in our culture, we haven't actually focused on ethics because maybe there is no such regulations available. I mean, GDPR in Europe is very much concerned about use of AI in schools, in education, because the children's data should be protected. We cannot just simply use. I'm sure everybody knows what AI is doing. AI is given for free because these companies need us to train AI with our information, with our data. So I was just asking, just this week when I was at a teacher training, I was asking the teachers, does everybody know what GPT stand for? Can I ask if somebody knows what GPT stands for? Let me hear if you know what P stands for. Is there anybody who knows what P stands for in the GPT? I'm sure Jailam knows the answer. He's not going to give us the answer. So this is what I want to focus. P is pre-trained. AI is as good as what it gets pre-trained on. So if we give our children's information, if we give our schools information, if we give our teachers information, AI is going to take it, and it's never going to forget it. It's going to remember it forever. And this is a dangerous, dangerous thing. This is very dangerous. I think the beauty of human beings is that we can forget easily. We get to forget easily, but the AI is never going to forget, and that's a dangerous thing in the future. So we need to be really careful with it. We need to really worry about the ethics. People can make use of it. There's lots of deep fakes coming out. Just be careful. Just because you see a video or a picture doesn't mean it's real. So someone mentioned to me, I don't remember if it was Jailam or maybe it was Shuhuda who mentioned digital literacy. Right now, the conversation is not simply digital literacy, it's AI literacy. Teachers need to be AI literate. Our students need to be AI literate. And digital literacy comes as part of it. Media literacy comes as part of it. But it needs to be AI literate. That's another conversation into this, right?
Yeah, so if you look at the education and how AI is being utilized right now, many teachers use AI to generate the lesson plan. They use AI to generate the questions for the assignment. And then they give the assignment to the students. And the students use AI to do the assignment and submit it. And the teachers use AI to mark the assignment. So there's nothing human-centered about this whole process right now. The only fact is we as zombies, we just carry the information between different AI models. But all the cognitive thinking is done by AI. So I think this needs to be regulated so that we as teachers understand that AI is only an assistant. So every AI tool, there needs to be a human in the loop. So that's what we call it, a human in the loop. So when an AI generates something, for an example, if it was a human being, you had a clerk, for an example, an assistant in office. He writes writes a paper, maybe he writes a letter or report. You would review it. You wouldn't actually send it or publish it without reviewing it. Similarly, AI is your assistant. You are not the assistant. AI is your assistant. So you need to actually review these questions, and then you need to, whenever it's given to students, students need to review it. For an example, AI can help them write papers. AI can do the research. AI can do the searching. And it should be us as students or teachers or people who are using these tools, we should use our cognitive power to transform them into our writing. Of course, what AI writes could be better than what we could write in the same period of time, but that's what makes it more better. But still, we should be the human in the loop that reads these generations and approves them. So the human in the loop component needs to be stressed, and as anybody who uses AI, we need to do that as a requirement, as a form of self-respect. Like it needs to be something that you need to do. If you're using an AI tool, you should be the human in the loop. You should read it. Otherwise, it should be banned or something. I don't know.
I just want to add something. You just can't skip my mind because I was just carried with this conversation. So when I was in Beijing, when first AI ChatGPT came out, we were supposed to use, our school forces us to use it. And we spent time, like months, learning about prompt engineering. That was the days, they thought everybody should know how to prompt. This is the skill that everyone is needed to have in the future. But now, if you think about it, AI doesn't really need that specific prompt. There's no such thing called prompt engineering. People don't talk about it as much. So that's an important thing I want to highlight. And also, a lot of people will still do prompt and paste. So there's this skill, prompt, get the output, paste. But I think the idea is now changing into use it as a partner, use it as a thought partner, use it as a brainstorming partner, use it as a resource that you have a 24/7 assistance available to you. So if you need to think of something, if you need to unstuck, if you need to really think of an innovation, you can partner with AI rather than just prompt and paste.
Yes, thank you. Um, when talking about keeping AI what, human-centric or like the human side of it, I think, and also to make it more inclusive, I think once again, I would like to get started with how we prepare teachers, because once again, it is the teachers who is the critical factor here. So, as I've mentioned earlier, teachers need to have the digital skills, of course, how to use the AI applications and all. And also, as I've mentioned earlier, it is not just about how to use them, but also about how to critically evaluate them. So before you use AI, I think it's important for the teacher to critically evaluate, ask questions. Like, for example, is this application or is this tool going to help my students learn better? Is it going to put any of my students at a disadvantage? Or is it going to exclude some students in my class? Then if you could ask these questions yourself and also get the answer, then I think you will be on the right track on using, because you are using them to enhance student learning, not for any other purpose. Then it's also about we have talked about, I am very curious about Jailam's mentioned that he is trying to bring the human effects, human feelings into AI, but then I still believe that, I mean, you can't compete with the human beings, because there is no way, at the moment, I don't think there is any way that AI can find out if a student is anxious in the classroom, a student is feeling disturbed. So it is the teacher's role. The teacher has to, teacher has to be there to address the students' socio-emotional needs, while also using the AI in the classroom. Of course, that also need to be there, because that enhances learning, and there is no doubt that the future is going to be this. AI is going to remain, AI is going to be in the classroom. So the teacher, as Dr. Shamim also has mentioned, I think it has to be we have to use AI as our assistant. While it is assisting us with data analysis and all those things, we can keep monitoring the students' socio-emotional needs. Yeah, so that's what. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So these AI models, AI platforms are helping us in a lot of different ways. For example, our teachers are using these AI platforms to prepare their lesson plans, individual curriculum plans. So these plans are also helping our students to engage in learning in more personalized ways. So AI is very beneficial, though it has its own negative consequences if we don't use it, if we are not conscious about it. So I believe from very early stages, we have to keep the values as our compass when we are using AI. So always ourselves as teachers, as educators, we have to know the value side. And also we have to advocate, we have to educate our students on that. How to use AI, but also we have to believe, we have to know that there are some uh, areas, some aspects that we have to always take into consideration while we are using AI. So that's one thing. And another one is like uh, the inclusivity part. So when it comes to inclusivity, like as I mentioned just now, it's helping our teachers to help uh, all the students in the classrooms. It's helping our teachers to prepare individual curriculum plans, more personalized learning, individualized learning. Uh, and at the same time, I think there are a lot of scope for the AI development still when it comes to inclusivity. When we type a prompt, then the output could have, for example, could produce a result that will suffice for different types of students in the classroom. Like even I don't think there are current models that produces sign languages now, right? So there are a lot of scope, I think, Jailam, that you can still work on when it comes to when it comes to inclusivity, even, right? So when it comes to AI and inclusivity, I believe that AI should be accessible to each and everyone, regardless of their gender, their socio-economic backgrounds, or any other differences that they have. They should be able to access it and use it and get benefit out of it. Okay, thank you. And I think I'm the last one to talk. And before concluding, I would like to thank Villa College and the conference organizers. On behalf of all the panelists, I would like to thank Villa College and the conference organizers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all the panelists. So I think that's a very strong reminder that the teachers, not only teachers, but learners need to feel empowered in this process, right? We would like to hear your voices as well. So do you have any questions?
Hi, I'm Rayu. I'm the co-founder of Etala. We are also doing AI research, so you're one of our inspirations, Jailam. And as people who are like working on the forefront of AI in the Maldives, it's with an industry like ours that's rapidly changing, where the technology is changing every month. On a learning level, how can we interact with the education sector to revise the syllabus? Because like I think in the past 10 years ago you could maybe make a syllabus once every 15 years, but sort of now you have to recontextualize that with the current technologies. Okay, now we have to do it every year. So like my question to you being is like, how do we go about that together?
So when it comes to actual policy level change, that will take a lot of time. So for an example, when it comes to what we could actually do is, as people who are in the tech field and who are experts in the tech field, we could actually be educating the teachers and the students on proper usage of AI and advocate them on how, what are the tools that are available for free and for a few pennies that they could utilize to improve their teaching skills and learning skills. For an example, we have been, Jawab Academy has been involved in professional development trainings. Last week I was at Shawi and Bilef Fahi, and we were conducting professional development trainings for teachers, as well as we took a session for students as well. So where we showed them some of the tools such as Gemini. A lot of them didn't even know Gemini. So we introduced Gemini to them and how they could be using Gemini tools, how they could be using the live chat feature to interact with students. For an example, we showed them different ways which they could make learning more engaging. When you're teaching physics, when you're talking about Newton's laws of motion, you could actually make AI pretend that it is Newton. You could ask AI to say, you pretend to be Isaac Newton and answer the questions. So how excited would students be to ask questions to Isaac Newton, any question? And I also asked a question to Isaac Newton, and I actually found out that the apple didn't fall on the head of Isaac Newton. It was just a metaphor. It didn't actually happen. But then Isaac Newton told me that it didn't happen. It was just something people made up. So we could actually be, students could actually be very much engaged, and the level of interest towards these subjects could increase when they have stories like this. We also taught them how, for an example, they could convert the stories, the lessons into stories, and the stories could have their faces, the students' faces, with Minecraft characters. So how they could engage the student, how they could use stories. Not all teachers are really gifted. I mean, for an example, not everybody can draw the best diagrams, but just do a sketch and ask AI to perfect the diagram for you, to redraw the diagram in a professional manner. So these are very small tips which teachers can use. So we try to go and give these examples and give ways in which they could use AI in their classroom to improve their skills. So when the teachers are more educated, most of these teachers, they're digitally literate, but the field of AI, like you said, is advancing so frequently. Like within just a few years, we have huge changes, and AI is one of
3.5
the
to 6.
AI is one of the fields, like even we are amazed at how fast it is actually progressing. Like Madam Shahuda just said, it's not possible for AI to recognize the feelings of humans. She would be surprised at how people are using AI right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, maybe it's not common here, maybe people do, but a lot of people have AI girlfriends already.
Yeah, I think you get that with like the premium subscription of Twitter
Yes,
now.
yes,
Yeah.
already it's there, and I think Grok also has all that.
Yeah.
So general idea is people with the knowledge, with in the field, need to do professional development sessions and awareness sessions on AI to the general public, including teachers, and teach them how they could actually use the existing tools which are available for free in their education, in their classrooms, to improve their skills and to improve their teaching quality.
I think one more thing that I would like to explore, like, right before I give the mic off to anybody else, is the field has progressed to a rate where like the the method of creating the generative model or the method of creating like a vision model has been largely abstracted, right? So what can we do as people on the forefront to teach people not only how to like consume technology but learn how to build their own technology? Because like that's what we are doing at Etola, right? We are trying to build open computer vision models, open language models, hopefully one day, but like really, because like the how much the field has been democratized, it's like we are in a opportunity where like the compute can be subsidized, the very technical knowledge can be subsidized. It's like how can we navigate that resources of where like everybody wants this bubble to happen? So like what use can we make of this time right now when there's like so much opportunity?
Yeah. So I think generally awareness, that's the main key thing. So public lacks the awareness. We need to create the awareness and tell them about it. So you need to go out there and tell everybody there's a tool like this. There's a tool which can be used like this. Um, uh, and you could invent your own tools and as well as educate them as well. So we need to, whenever we have somebody trying in the field, we need to support them as well. So be supportive. It could be a share on Facebook or something. Yeah, we could in ways how we could actually create new tools and work together and collaborate together to produce better tools. And most important, I would say, is advocating awareness on this field. People don't really know about this, so we need to make them aware about it.
Right. So basically, today's discussion shows the preparation of or preparing AI learners is not just about teaching coding, but it's more about it. It's more about policy inclusion, curriculum redesigning, and then also cultural adaptation. So basically, the future will not be AI versus humans, but I think it's more about AI with human. So I would like to thank all our panelists for their insights, and thank you so much, audience, for your participation.
Thank you, panel, for the compelling discussion. May we invite Mr. Said Ahmad from the Faculty of Education Studies to present the certificates of appreciation to the panel. Dr. Abdul Latif Muhammad, Ms. Shuhuda Rizwan, Mr. Muhammad Jailam, Dr. Ali Shamim, and Ms. Fatimat Samahat. Could the panelists please come to the front of the stage for a group photo? Thank you all. We will now have a short coffee break. The closing ceremony will start at 4:30, so please be back in the hall by that time. Thank you.
I was even exploring and had ChatGPT because normally I don't use it, but still I think there are ways you can also. Good.